Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Hoops All In podcast. I'm your host, Werlins Francois. As always, we got Kane Legacy and Kyle Anthony in the building. What's up, guys? How you guys doing today?
What's going on?
Well, doing good, man. How about you?
How about
Hanging in there.
I'm lying. I feel like crap today, but I couldn't miss this conversation, man. So I had to be here.
Yeah, this will be
Yeah, man. Shout out to Kane. He trooping it out for us.
Yeah.
a little under the weather, but
Yeah. Still here.
I never quite understood that expression, under the weather, because if the weather is really nice, but that's a whole other.
But it's the weather. How do you get under the? I don't know.
40 hold up. 40 degrees is not nice weather, man. I don't know who told you
It is
that.
compared to how
That's
this
not nice
winter
weather
has
at
been
all.
going.
That's still cold.
40 is better than
Yeah,
16.
but still, that's not the time. Listen, 40 degrees does not give you the right to go out in shorts. That's not short wind weather, okay? It's still cold out.
Yeah, it doesn't. But you're making me miss Phoenix now, so we need to move on.
So anyway, let's get talking.
Yes, let's get to it. So let's get to it. So as we all know that, the trade with Max right smack dab in the middle of the season. So big time trades are happening. At the time of this recording, Karis LeVert was traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Montez Sabonis was traded to the Kings. CJ McCollum, which was a shocking one, was traded to the New Orleans Pelicans. So, and we still got more trades to come, obviously, at the time of this recording. So we're going to talk about those three big trades that happened. And what do you guys think was the most significant impact of those trades? So I'll start with you, Kyle. You could go first. Kane, whoever wants to go first.
Well, I just feel like either anything that is spoken about ahead of time is constantly in the feed, constantly possible, coming up as a possible potential trade, does not come as a shock. I think what happens is when it comes out as when it comes out of the blue, that's when it's even more exciting. But as far as CJ McCollum going to the Pelicans, I just feel like that's definitely the Blazers' sign of they're saying, you know what, we're going to do a slow rebuild, maybe not a completely hard reset, but more of a, we know that if we're going to keep Dame at all, then we're just going to have to rebuild around him. That backcourt, as dynamic as they have been all this time, it hasn't been winning them the games that they needed to win in the postseason. So I think that's the most interesting one, because it really affects the outlook of two teams tremendous, like drastic and significantly.
And what about you?
Well, I'm surprised Kyle didn't express that. The Knicks were interested in McCollum as well, and I guess the Pelicans won out on that.
They settled for Cam Reddish, and we see how that's going out in New York. Thibodeau's already benching his ass.
Yeah. So Kyle, you feel heartbroken about that, or you feel like you dodged the bullet on it?
I've never been. I don't want to say I wasn't a CJ. I'm not a CJ McCollum fan or anything like that. I don't feel like there's always going to be some magical solution. One player is going to be the savior. You know what I mean? I still in the school of thought that it's a team game, and it's all about chemistry. It's all about combinations. It's all about matchups on a nightly basis as well. He'll provide some great offense, quote unquote veteran leadership. But at the end of the day, is he, when you take a player, and I think I mentioned this in one of the posts, one of my comments on the Hoops All In posts, are we taking a great player on and losing a lot of good players or several good players in the process, and then you're leaving him with nobody to play with? You know what I mean? You always have to look at the the team that is looking for wanting to initiate this trade or acquire a certain player, or what do they have to give up if they have to give up anything? That could always be a setback, no matter what kind of star power. Sorry, so that's what I feel about that. I just don't think that he would have added some great offense, but
I mean, he's what, 24-4. You know what I mean? Like, it lends itself to me, you know what I mean, to believe that, like, at the end of the day, Portland wasn't giving up a ton, you know what I mean. But then in return, like, I agree with you, they're in the slow rebuild phase because they got what, a first round pick and 2 second round picks out of it, as well as all the other players. So I think Portland is, I think they're in a slow rebound. I rebuild. I don't know. I think. I don't know. I'd have to ask Worlds what he thinks. I know. I see it as a wash, the trade, but you know what I mean. Maybe it's a chemistry thing or something that we don't know about behind the scenes. I don't know.
See, you say wash, and that's how I feel about the Sacramento and Pacers trade. I feel
it's a bonus.
Yeah, only because excuse me. We're looking at not only Sabonis, but we're looking at how they acquired Halliburton. I feel like both teams are switching places from a team with a losing record on one conference to a team with a losing record in the other conference. You know what I mean? And then they're still talking about the possibility of Pacers, possibility of trying to move Miles Turner at some point, if not by the deadline, then during the offseason. So, whereas Sacramento hasn't been in the postseason in feels like decades, the Pacers are obviously looking at the same type of situation with Portland, as they're kind of doing a rebuild in motion. I
don't know. It's not too many top of the. I mean, well, the Bucks were actually. Did you guys hear about this? The Bucks talking to the Celtics about Schroeder.
Yeah. Well.
that would be a waste. They don't need Schroeder. They already have Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton as their guards. But let me go back to what you guys said about CJ. I agree. I think that we can't say the CJ McCollum trade wasn't a waste. It was, because based on the team he went to, like, we all know New Orleans isn't going anywhere. They're not a contender. Okay, Zion can't stay healthy, and they're trying to figure out themselves right now. I believe right now they're 13th in the Western Conference. So you don't have your star franchise player if he could ever get back on the court with his knee issues. And it's like, what was the point of adding CJ McCollum? He's 30 years old. That type of offense that he brings to the court, that'll probably be used for if he was traded to the Clippers. If we see Kawhi's coming back, or if he decides to play this year, or maybe if he goes and gets traded to Denver, somebody that can use another wing scoring, or maybe even the Jazz. He would have been great in the backcourt with Donovan Mitchell. Now they just lost Joe Ingles to a torn ACL. So I will have liked to see CJ get traded to a contender. The Pelicans, it just made no sense for both sides to do. And like you mentioned, Dame Miller said, hey, I don't want to trade out of Portland. I want to stay here. But they are not showing you moves and trades to show that they are serious about winning. They're literally trade all the pieces. They look at the Norman Powell trade. You just made the Clippers 2 times better, especially if they get Paul George and Kawhi Leonard back. Norman Powell was averaging about 18, 20 points per game. So that was a waste. And now you trade away, the CJ McCollum, who's one of Damian Lillard's closest friends, and we've seen with that backcourt, was able to get to the Western Conference Finals one time. So I see it as a wash as well too. I don't know what was the point of that. What trade that obviously I want to say that gives the biggest significant impact, in my opinion, is Caris LeVert getting traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because right now, Cleveland is, I believe, 4th in the Eastern Conference. They're tied with the Bulls at the time of this recording. They're 4th in the Eastern Conference. They're tied with the Bulls, we believe, 33-21, 7-3 in their last 10 games. Not only that, they added an extra guard who could score, space the floor out, and they lost Colin Sexton to injury, torn meniscus. Ricky Rubio is now out with ACL, which I believe they traded him away. So they didn't really have a guard who could score outside Darius Garland. And you're looking at Cleveland, they are building something really special in Cleveland. I mean, you would think when LeBron left twice, it was a shamble franchise. They wasn't doing anything. They're picking in the lottery every single year. Now, give credit to Kobe Altman, the general manager. Added veterans, Rondo, undercover move. They kept Kevin Love. Now you got All-Star and Darius Garland. You got a possible future All-Star and Evan Mobley, who also could be in the running for Rookie of the Year. So
And you got
Cleveland
Jared
is going to be
Allen.
making some noise.
You got Jared Allen too.
And Jared Allen too. Yeah. And he's reunited back with Allen from the Brooklyn days. So Cleveland is going to be making some noise in the upcoming years, especially with that they have right now with that core of LeVert, Garland, Allen, and Mobley. That team is gonna, young talent. They got some really good pieces that could be a foundation of something special down the line.
How ironic that they pulled it together just in time to have their All-Star game this year. Suddenly they're having the season that they're having.
Yeah. No, for real. But yeah, but like I said, I agree with you guys too. Sabonis was also waste. I mean, the Kings are 13th in the West. You trade away Houghton, I believe his last name
Halliburton.
was a young piece.
Halliburton.
Thank you.
Halliburton.
Buddy Hield. Halliburton. Buddy Hield. I just said that. Halliburton. Buddy Hield, obviously, he been wanted out, so I understand that move. So, that's combined 30 points of scoring from both of them. I guess they're possibly going to try to build around, Fox and Sabonis as the future. So, we'll see what happens with that. Only time will tell.
What about Tristan Thompson, though?
Oh, yeah, Tristan Thompson, too.
Bro, Tristan Thompson is no more for putting his balls in other women. Listen, nobody care about Tristan Thompson. He's no more for putting his balls in other women than putting the ball in the hoop, okay? Let's be real about that.
Okay.
I think these trades
Am I
all about building for the next few years because everybody knows at this point, you got the Nets in the East, you got the Warriors and the Suns in the West. It's like, this is what's going to happen now. I don't think, these teams, with the exception of the Bulls, but I didn't see any. Did they have any movement?
No, not
They
yet.
want Schroeder too. They were talking to Schroeder. They're talking to the Celtics about Schroeder too. I don't know what happened with that though.
Yeah,
When
the
did
Bucks and the Bulls both
become
put
a
an
hot
offer on the table for Schroeder.
So, Kane, are you basically, when you say, this is just a quick aside, I want to circle back to your comment about the Nets out of the East. So are we saying, or are you saying that they're going to make a sudden rebound because they've really had
all right. Yeah. I mean, that being the case, Harden is doing terrible. So I'm not, I'm not going to give the Nets. I actually misspoke. I meant to say the Bucks. I'm sorry about that. I apologize. I'm allowed to misspeak.
Don't apologize to me. I was just saying I wanted you to,
clarify.
Yeah. I don't want
people. I'm sorry. Before you start, dragging me in the comments. I meant the Bucks. My mind has been on the Nets lately, but I meant the Bucks in the East. Sorry about that.